Hi. What's going on, everybody? What's up? Hello. How you doing? Welcome. Welcome, everyone. How are you? I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you had a good day away yesterday on Monday. Monday. Weird. I didn't even know this morning that today was Tuesday. I woke up. I was completely out of sorts. I was looking around. I was like, where am I? Who am I? What's going on? What is this? Is today still Christmas morning? Have I missed it? And I looked outside and there was a child outside in the street. And I said, hello, young man. Hello, little youngster out there. And he said, oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, Mr. Bonnell. What is it, Mr. Bonnell? And I said, is it still Christmas morning? And the child looked up and he said to me, Mr. Bonnell, it's fucking January, you fucking idiot. Oh, I did miss it. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PreStream podcast. I am Phil, and today is Tuesday, the 11th of January, 2022, and I welcome you here towards the beginning of a week of streaming. Now, it is a really weird week because it's starting on a Tuesday. Yeah, I know. It really throws me for a loop. I'm serious. Like, I feel so weird today. It doesn't feel like a normal week to me because I'm so used to coming back from a break. And usually it's like, oh, we're almost near the end of the week. And within a day or two, I'm playing Street Fighter on a Friday night. And then we got the weekend. Everyone's jumping on and joining me. And I woke up today completely feeling different, like out of sorts. I did. It is what it is. You know, I got to get used to this, and it may or may not stay consistently like this. I'm actually waiting to hear back. My wife is starting up a new schedule for work, and it's kind of throwing us all for a loop. You know, she's working different times, different days, and we got to get used to that. For me, I am flexible. I get to stream whenever I really want. I make my own schedule. And so I try to make my schedule based around her work schedule so we can have time off together. You know, it's very meaningful to have that day off once a week where we get to do whatever together because neither of us are working. But it's definitely weird having the day kind of shift completely to a time of the week when I've never usually had that day off on a Monday, ever, right? I can't even tell you the last time I had a day off on a Monday unless it was like for a very specific reason, and that was probably like, you know, once in a blue moon. Now, the good news is, if Mondays end up being my new regular day off for the week, then that's okay because it won't hinder or interfere with any new game releases. New game releases are typically on either Tuesday or Friday, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but at the same time, there will definitely be some adjustment period. The good news is I'll still be here all weekend. People love to watch the streams on the weekends when they can because a lot of people are at work or school during the week. And then they get to finally tune in full time during the weekend, which is nice. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing at all. It's just something to get used to, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to tell you, oh, I'm here for 6 straight days of streaming. This is great. I actually don't even know. All I know is that I think my wife is working for the next 5 days. So I can tell you this, I'm here for 5 days. That's as much as I know. I could be here for 6 or longer. I could be only here for 5 days and immediately it's my day off. Won't know until she settles into the new stuff going on with her work. And then I'll know exactly what to tell you for the rest of the week's schedule. What I can tell you is that this week should be refreshing because we have finished Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition. It was actually the last thing I did before I went on break yesterday. We wrapped up GTA 3 Definitive Edition on Sunday night, and whoo, boy, it was not easy. It was frustrating. It was annoying. They did not update that final mission in any way. They left it alone. So, Definitive Edition, my ass, they really didn't try to make the end of the game any more manageable or fun. It's just as tedious and messed up as it always was. But I got it done going into overtime on Sunday night. And now we can focus on new stuff this coming week, which I'm very excited for, actually. I can't wait to jump into new stuff wholeheartedly for the new year, right? It feels refreshing when you're starting up new stuff for the new year. very briefly, let's go through the schedule. I have a lot to talk about on PreStream today. I want to obviously recap my day off yesterday in the Phil's Day Off segment. This is something that I've done every week since I started the PreStream podcast, is to kind of recap my day off so you guys know what happened and everything. But also, there's also multiple game-related stories that I'd like to talk about. There's a follow-up to the story about DMCA. There's a follow-up to the story about Dying Light 2. And there's a whole new story about Take-Two buying a game company. So I'd like to talk about all that. And there's going to be a lot to discuss on the pre-stream today. But we have to get there. So let's briefly talk about the schedule so you guys know what to expect this week, because it's going to be a special week. Okay? So today, ladies and gentlemen, should be a great streaming day for sure. The gameplay will be very mixed and a big variety. Let's put it that way. We start off today with Resident Evil 4. All right, game that I've very much enjoyed playing since you guys picked it to be part of the Christmas marathon, and I've continued on with it as a main playthrough since. From what I'm going to understand, what people are telling me, probably 2 more streams to beat Resident Evil 4. The game is much longer than I remember. In fact, most of the stuff I'm doing at this point, I don't remember at all. Like, I don't remember all this stuff in the Salazar Mansion. It really does feel like a first-time deal for me, which is weird because I know I played the game before. The playthrough's like fully on the internet, so obviously, you know, I played it. For some reason, I only have memory of this game up to the part with the cranks and defending Ashley, and I don't remember any of the stuff that I'm currently doing in the game right now. But I'm having a good time with it, and you guys are helping me, and we're having a good interactive experience, and I'm really enjoying playing it again a second time. At first, when I started playing Resident Evil 4, I was like, the controls are sluggish, and, you know, I wish that they were better. And now I'm playing it, I'm like, wow, I'm liking it much more the more further I get into it. And I think what it was is, after having not played it in 8 years, going back to it during the Christmas marathon was a little jarring. And also during the Christmas marathon, I was drinking. So not only am I getting used to kind of these older style outdated controls, but also I'm sluggish because I'm drinking, right? So now actually getting to play the game over the course of the last week or two, and having to play it without liquor in my body, and I'm appreciating it more. Let's put it that way. I'm remembering some of the stuff, and I'm having a good time fighting all the enemies and everything. So good stuff. I really like the game. I can't wait to play more of it today. And again, I have zero recollection, of what's coming up, which is a good way to approach it. Sarah says, I'm much preferring this playthrough, the current playthrough today, versus your original one because you're much more positive. I mean, yeah. And it's funny because when I was playing the Halloween, not the Christmas, but the Halloween marathon, I played Condemned Criminal Origins. Now, this is a game that originally, many years ago, I had actually played for a for a Halloween marathon. This was the second time people had voted it into a marathon event. And I actually kind of liked that. I was like, oh, this game kind of has a unique charm to it. Even though it's definitely outdated, it kind of has this methodology of how to go about combat, and it's kind of weird and wonky, but it's kind of fun. And man, it's zany. Some of the enemies are like fucking zombies and shit. Like, but I thought the game's supposed to be like realistic. You're in the sewers fighting criminals and druggies. No, it's like zombies. Oh, weird, right? But I was having a good time, and people are like, are you aware that this is completely the opposite of your reaction the first time you played it many years ago? That when you played it originally for your Halloween marathon, 3-4 years ago, you hated it. You shat on it constantly. You just basically couldn't stop complaining about how bad the controls were in the gameplay, and you really were like upset about how bad it was, and you never wanted to go back to it. And I was like, you know what it really is, and this is the truth of the matter, is in life, the way you approach things can completely change your attitude and even your reaction to them. Today, I am in a much better place in my life than I was 4 or 5 years ago. Just being very honest here. At one point, I was a place in my life where my personal stuff wasn't very good, and I was in a place in my career as a YouTuber. At that point, I was still a full-time YouTuber, where I really wasn't liking what I was doing anymore. I was tired of it. It was kind of a shtick of me always crapping on games and playing as many games as possible and pumping out videos. Even though I was live streaming, it was like the live streaming was fan service for my viewers, meaning it was like, oh, if you want to watch live, you can, but don't expect anything out of it because I'm still a YouTuber at heart, and that's what I'm focusing on. Man, what a missed opportunity that was, right? And before I was interactive with my audience like I am today with you guys, it was so different and weird. I really wish, this is one of my big regrets from over the years, is that I wish that I had realized earlier that if I had changed up my formula, focused on a live streaming audience, interacting with you guys, having fun conversations, social interactions, having you be a part of the content, having you be a part of the playthroughs, that what I was doing would have been way more meaningful, would have definitely felt like it was something unique and different rather than the same old thing that I had been doing for so many years, right? It really stagnated at one point. And I actually think originally when I played Condemned Criminal Origins, that was the case. Like, it was basically very stagnated. And now I play it, I'm like, oh, it feels like a completely different experience. You guys are helping me. You're giving me advice on how to play the game and what to do. So I'm succeeding rather than sucking. Same thing here with Resident Evil 4. The original playthrough many years ago, 2014, right? I had just adopted, direct capture and live streaming about a year or so, and I had not become any kind of an interactive content creator. Excuse me. And I just remember in particular playing the game and thinking that it was unique and interesting because it was so different from the original Resident Evil games, and I had only played 5 and 6. I had never played 4 before. But I just kind of remember, having a session and getting frustrated and sucking, and then going back and reading comments and getting your feedback after the fact. That's very different from being interactive and having a good time with you guys live. I'm loving seeing your reactions to the game now, the live playthrough, and it's just so different. And you're right. Again, if you approach stuff with a positive attitude as opposed to a negative one, I'm gonna go into this like every game. I'm gonna shit on it. I'm gonna say it sucks. I'm gonna over the top react and rage. That was my shtick back in the day. Today I can be more honest and be me. Not to say that stuff still doesn't happen, but I'm playing Resident Evil 4 today at face value and enjoying it, as opposed to back in the day just always being kind of negative about everything, right? I love this. This is much better and more meaningful to me, I feel. Okay? So, Resident Evil 4 continues today on the main stream. Like I said, I feel like between today, maybe one more major session, we'll wrap it up. Tonight's late stream is my return to Lost Judgment, or, as we like to say on the pre-stream, the return to Lost Judgment. Because it was one of the longest playthroughs I had done in recent memory. And, of course, it was infamous that every time I played it was like, oh my god, he's still playing this game. So the good news is we did beat Lost Judgment, okay? The plot's done. And the only reason I'm going back to it is because there was a small but very dedicated group of viewers and fans who really liked Lost Judgment. And they expressed the desire, after I beat the game, for me to maybe go back once a week and replay that game from the start, completely over. Yeah, right. Yeah, another 80 hours. No. There's content in Lost Judgment, side content, that you could do as part of your playthrough. But quite frankly, they are kind of one-off random side missions that have nothing to do with the main plot. And the fact that I already had done so much side content, I really just wanted to beat the game and get my year-end series done so that I could focus on moving forward positively, which I have in the last week, which is great. But man, it just feels like there's unfinished business. There's all these squirrel puzzles around the city to solve. There's a significant amount of side cases that were part of the side content of the game that I didn't do. I just kind of skipped them or ignored them. There's all kinds of fun stuff that I could do as part of the remaining stuff. Apparently, there's even side content that opened up as a result of me beating the game. There's more side missions, which is crazy when you think about it, okay? So tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, we return to Lost Judgment for the first time in over a week since I beat the game. And we're going to have a fun time relaxing in Kamurocho and Achinjo, doing side missions, no pressure to make any progress or do anything because we're in no rush anymore. So it'll be a nice, fun, interactive, open-world stream, but I'll be trying to solve all kinds of side cases and things. Maybe, depending on how hard it is, which I don't know, maybe I can get the Platinum. I don't know. Then again, there is no Platinum on Xbox Series X. It would be just a bunch of achievements and probably a giant, big amount of achievement points if you do all the stuff, right? So I hope you'll join me tonight for that. Now, tomorrow, we're also doing some different stuff. Tomorrow, I'm starting up a actual full playthrough of Condemned Criminal Origins. This is, again, the game that I played on the Halloween Marathon, and I liked it a lot more the second time around than the original playthrough from years ago, because I approached it with a more positive attitude, and I had interaction with you guys during the streams. So, that being said, I'm excited to jump back into it after you guys had requested it pretty consistently since October. That should be a fun stream, and from what I'm being told, probably about 6 hours to beat the game, so maybe 2 major streams of that, and then we'll actually beat that game too. Tomorrow night, the late stream will be Halo Infinite multiplayer, which will be interesting because I just qualified for Gold Tier Rank 3, and then I played a few more ranked matches and ended up going up to Gold Rank 4. So I'm doing ranked matches. I'm not saying that the entire stream will be ranked matches. What I might do is mix it up and do like half ranked and then half random, or we'll see. But Halo Infinite multiplayer, you know, got really good last time around. I hope you guys will join me for it tomorrow night. And then Thursday, we're going to continue on with Skyrim, which will be fun. You know, Skyrim's been a great playthrough so far. Really a lot of open world exploring and just stumbling upon quests and content. I will focus in on Thursday on getting the Falk Wreath and actually starting up major plot missions. And then Thursday night, excuse me, I'm going to be doing a Game Pass night. Now, what we did last week is we did a special Game Pass exploration stream. For 2 hours, we went through everything that was on Game Pass Ultimate. We marked off like a dozen games for me to possibly play in the future. What I would like to do, and I haven't had a chance to do this yet, I will definitely set this up, probably today, is make a series of polls on this channel on the community tab, where you guys will be able to vote in like 2 or 3 different polls for various games. Each poll can only be 4 choices. I know it's kind of stupid. Why can't YouTube do more than 4 choices in a poll? Because everything on YouTube is incredibly primitive. They start up with an idea and then they never like modernize it, so it ends up feeling like very basic. So in these polls, you'll be voting for the games that you want to see me play later on this week. And whatever ends up winning the poll, there'll be, like I said, maybe 2, 3 polls. Whatever 2 games get the most votes in these polls will end up being the 2 games that I play on Thursday night on the late stream. I'll play each for about an hour. And this stream will be exploratory in nature. We'll try to determine if any of those games are good enough that I will do a full-on playthrough of them moving forward. Because I realize that in the next, rest of this month, what do we got? We got Rainbow Six Extraction, which I'm going to try under Game Pass, but there's no guarantee it's going to be any good. I might play it once or twice and never play it again. We got I almost said Rainbow Six again. We've got Pokemon Legends Arceus, a brand new Pokemon game with all kinds of interesting new mechanics. Could be good. I'm definitely playing that as a full playthrough. Outside of that, there's like nothing going on in the realm of new games right now. There's nothing actually going on until February, when all of a sudden a ridiculous slew of new releases start hitting nonstop back to back to back. So with that being said, I need to find some filler games to fill my gaming schedule so I have stuff to do between now and all the new releases hitting in February. So these Game Pass nights could be a great opportunity to do just that. Let's play through some games. Let's see if they're any good. If they are good, hey, maybe I'll do a playthrough of them, right? So that being said, that's going to be Thursday night, and I hope that you guys will join me for that. That should be fun. And then over the course of the weekend, you'll see, again, a balance between Skyrim, Resident Evil 4, till I beat Resident Evil 4, more Condemned. I'll probably beat Condemned. And then moving on with that, maybe some Game Pass stuff. So we'll see. But again, I don't exactly know my full schedule. Will I be here streaming through Sunday? I don't know. I until I find out, I can't really tell you guys that information. Okay, but I'll let you know as soon as I know. All right. Outside of that, a few little housekeeping things, and then I want to get to these gaming news stories to talk about. All right. So first of all, guys, thank you so very much. So far this year has been an amazing year for the amount of support I'm getting on the streams, the viewership, and the engagement. And the engagement is key, because engagement on my streams and in my videos on YouTube are actually going to help this channel in the long term in a giant way. So, for example, right now, if you're watching this stream and you're like, oh, this is great, Phil's back from break, the podcast is going, I'm having a good time, I can't wait to hear him talk about the news stories, I can't wait for him to play Resident Evil 4, please give this stream a like. Just by giving this stream a like, boom, my content ends up showing prominently, or I should say more prominently, in YouTube search. Over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, we've had multiple people come in saying they were just on YouTube randomly kind of searching around and found my content as a result of me showing up in search or related videos, which is odd because DSPGaming never used to show up in that stuff. And now since people have started liking the content, it's starting to show up again. Okay? So again, one thing that we need to do to get DSPGaming to build up this year and get the prominent kind of search result is to remember regularly like it. And if you're watching this on demand on YouTube, if you're not just watching live on a stream, but let's say you're watching later on at your own leisure, well, first of all, thanks for watching. How you doing? Please leave a comment. Leaving a comment on these videos is helping tremendously. So you're going to hear me talk about this a lot in 2022. You're going to hear me talk about it all the time, probably multiple times during a stream. Please like the video. Please leave a comment. It helps a big amount. Right now we have over 200 people on the stream, 45 likes. If every day it becomes a habit, oh, I'm going to watch Phil's stuff. Oh, let me like it. This is going to, I'm telling you, you have no idea, but it's going to help a lot, okay? So, thank you to anyone who does that. I'm sorry, I'm exploding right now. Oh, my God. Oh! I'm exploding because I'm drinking seltzer water this morning. Holy crap. I'm very gassy. By the way, Jasper Kitty is here today. He'll be here for most of the stream. He's on the floor right now sleeping. But he's able to join us all day long if he wants to jump on a chair or whatever. I'm sure he'll probably try to block the TV. Block the Las Plagas from my view as soon as I start playing. So that's number one. Number two. Members goal. We're less than 25 members away from hitting the goal for the month, which is going to be a Game Pass marathon where we're going to play a wide variety of Game Pass games and explore and see if they're any good. Some of which will likely become full playthroughs. In addition to that, if we do the marathon event, then likely I will bring back Feasting with the King as a special deal during that event. So please consider becoming a channel member this month if you're not. There's so many benefits to being a channel member. I don't really want to go through all of them this morning because I got a lot to talk about outside of that. But I certainly hope that you will consider becoming a channel member. We were at 330. The most we've ever had on this channel is 334 members. That's the record. Okay? We were at 330, but then I had my day off yesterday and we lost 4 members. And let me tell you guys something. It bothers me immensely when I go on a day off to know that 4 people are so upset with the fact that I took a day off this week from streaming, canceled their memberships. It's not what happened. What happened is their memberships expired, and since I'm not here streaming, of course they're not thinking, oh, my membership expired. Let me go re-up my membership when Phil's not even here. Like, why would they even do that? Why would you be around when I'm not, right? I mean, yeah, you could be watching videos on demand or whatever, but you're not actively talking or whatever, so you probably wouldn't even notice if your membership expired. So hopefully what we can do is we can maybe get those back today and get some growth. I would love to reach our goal of our record is what I meant to say, of 334 members here on the channel. And it would be amazing if we could actually make a new record. Today would be the day, Resident Evil 4, right? A lot of people have been tuning into the RE4 streams, so. Okay, by the way, a lot of people doing super chats this morning, and as you guys know, I have a shout-out segment after I get through all the news and everything, so I will give you all a shout-out in a little bit here. Thank you for your support this morning. Okay. Let's get to the stories I want to talk about. I've had enough beating around the bush. I've now been talking for over 20 minutes. I'm like, what am I doing? Let's talk about the important stuff, okay? So first of all, let's get through this quick one. We have a follow-up in regards to the Dying Light 2 story that I covered a couple days ago, where the Dying Light social media account on Twitter posted up one of the most boneheaded posts I've ever seen in the promotion of games. They said that Dying Light 2 will be 500 hours long. And everyone read this and was like, what are you talking about? There's no way your game's 500 hours long. Other people were like, man, well, if there is 500 hours of content, I certainly hope that means that, like, the story is, like, good, but not that long. Like, let's hope the story's be, like, 20, 30 hours long, and maybe there's another, like, you know, tons of side content or something afterward. But everyone's doing the math in their head. They're like, how on earth could this game possibly be 500 hours long? It just doesn't sound right. So there's all this controversy all over the internet about it. Some people having actual negative backlash saying, well, I'm not getting it then. If it's that long, there's no way that much content can be meaningful. What a waste of time. I'm not going to buy it. On the flip side of that, some people were like, oh, dude, that's like the best value ever. If I buy this game for 60, 70 bucks or however much it'll cost, I'm going to get 500 hours out of it, right? And I was talking about this the other day. I was like, I can't even tell you a game that was 500 hours of content outside of, say, competitive games, like, you know, online first-person shooters or fighting games where you're just doing the same thing over and over. It's not 500 hours of unique content. It's just 500 hours of content in those cases. Or in the case of an MMO, where you're doing constant team-ups and grinding with your friends in a social aspect, and there could be raids and things that are kind of repetitive, but you do them over and over to try to get loot and stuff, right? So all that being said, all this backlash on the internet about this announcement, that same day Dying Light's social media updates and says, oh, just to clarify, no, the game is not 500 hours long. Definitely, I guess this blew up a way we didn't expect it to. You can beat the main game in well under 100 hours, okay? To which people still kind of responded, okay, that's great that you clarified, but it's still kind of unclear. So you're saying that your main game is 100 hours long. So, you know, what does that entail? So, again, I'm not even kidding you. Again, they tweeted again today, this morning. So we want to clarify our clarification. Here's an actual, like, broken down explanation of the real deal of what's going on, okay? Are you ready for this one? So here we go. 20 hours will be the story. 20 hours of story in Dying Light 2, which sounds, quite frankly, pretty typical, right? For any kind of game you buy today, you expect that there's going to be a pretty decent lengthy story. 20 hours sounds like a very reasonable amount of time for a story for a modern game, okay? Then, 80 hours if you do the story and you decide to do all of the side quests in the game. All the side quests that are available, you know, they're not necessary to beat the game, but it's good that there's all this added content. Now, here's the thing. You say to me, oh, so that's 60 hours of side content. Even then, reducing it from 500 hours to 60 hours, I still have to kind of like be a little skeptical here. You mean to tell me this game is going to have 60 hours of meaningful side content? I don't know if I believe that. I really don't know if I believe that at all. Me being around, I've been a content creator for 14 years now. Okay, played many games in my tenure, putting out YouTube videos, live streaming, and I know how it works. 20 hours of this game will be all the story-based missions. Okay, some of them will be fun, some of them probably won't. But most of them will be interesting and have something to tie into the game. All the core gameplay mechanics will be taught during these story missions, etc. Okay? Then what will likely happen is there will be two kinds of side content in the game. Actually, I take it back. There'll probably be three. In one case, there'll be actual side stories. And what I mean by that is characters who maybe are very specific to the side content, or maybe they start off in the main story, but now they branch out and have their own little mini stories. You'll probably do a series of missions for them. Not necessary to complete the game, but in a lot of cases, the meaningful side content of the game can teach you newer abilities, or maybe even give you optional items, maybe some actual experience points or upgrade points. So it makes the main game a little easier because you spent the time to do them, and also because they have their own stories, they're kind of meaningful. All right? Then you could end up having side content that's like kind of more repetitive, like think fetch quests, think do a time trial. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a challenge to it, but it's not anything tied into a main story or anything like that. And then on top of that, I guarantee you there's going to be quests that are just shit. Like, oh, go out there and kill 10 of this kind of zombie in this area and bring me back their fucking zombie nipples, right? Bring me the severed zombie nipples. And once you do that, I'll give you like 10 doubloons. And you can use the doubloons to buy a certain kind of ammo, which affects one kind of enemy for 5% bonus damage or something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is how all these games have these quests that are just like, they're there if you feel like doing them, fine. But really, they just feel like padding. They're not necessary to do anything. They don't even really help the game. They're literally just there to say there's more content in the game. You know, the zombie nipple collection quest. And then some games have what they call them radiant quests. Quests that never go away. They're just ongoing forever. You could literally infinitely collect zombie nipples, and you'll do it forever for the whole game and get rewarded for the bag of nipples that you bring back. A decaying, festering, oozing bag of severed zombie nipples. Anyway, you see my point? There's many different kinds of side content that can be in the game. So if you're telling me the main game is 20 hours long and there's 60 hours of side content, I gotta feel like even amongst the side content, there'll be meaningful, not so meaningful, but still kind of useful because you get upgrades and weapons, and then complete waste of your effing time just there to say that there's content in the game. Okay? So, all that being said, 80 hours to see the entirety of the plot and all the side content of the game. So the game is 80 hours long if you do everything, okay? So the Dying Light 2 social media account basically has to correct itself from the other day and says, oh, so 500 hours, where do we come up with that? Well, what that means is you're completely playing all the content in the game from start to finish, but you're doing that like 6 times in order to see every alternate ending and every single possible choice scenario in the game. If you remember way back when, and I mean way back when, like 4 or 5 years ago, when Dying Light 2 was originally announced, one of the main things that was announced about the game is that there's going to be these factions in the city as you're trying to survive, and you have to make choices. Do you want to ally with that faction, or do you want to go against that faction? Maybe there's a faction that goes through things to extreme means. Maybe they're actually not only killing zombies, and they're effective at it, but they're also kind of violent against other humans, and they're looting other humans and stealing their shit. And you're like, oh, do I want to team up with them? Or do you say, that's too extreme, I want to go against them? This was one of the actual things that was discussed when the game was being developed as something different from the first game. And then the game went into development hell for like 4 or 5 years, and we just forgot about all of that, right? So now if you think about it, okay, if the game is 80 hours long, but what if in one playthrough you ally with this group and you go against this other group? Your second playthrough you ally with the other group and you go against this group. Now you can see different sides of the same thing, like Fallout or Elder Scrolls. You know, I'm playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim right now. You could be with the Stormcloaks. You could be with the Empire. Does it really change the main plot of the game? In some missions, yes. In others, it doesn't affect jack shit at all, right? But you could argue, it takes 120 hours to do all the content in Skyrim. But if you want to see both sides, you got to play it twice, so it's 240 hours. You see? That's essentially what they did when they started advertising Dying Light 2 on social media the other day. They basically, it's not an outright lie. It's what's called stretching the truth. Any other game company, when asked how long is your game, they would say, it's 80 hours. There's 20 hours of story, there's 60 hours of side content. They wouldn't say it's 500 hours, but you have to replay the game 6 or 7 times to get that much. You know, what are you talking about? No, that's not meaningful game content, and you're basically, when you say 500 hours, you're outright kind of, you're not lying, because yes, you could play the game for 500 hours to see different choices, but man, there's going to be a lot of wasted time and repetition if you replay the game that many times, so you're kind of fibbing, right? So, anyway, that being said, essentially what happened is everyone's backlashed, right? Everyone backlashed against this, saying, what the hell did they say this for? Some people, I talked about this the other day, first impressions are everything. Sadly, there are some people who heard 500 hours and literally will not follow up with all this follow-up stuff that's happened, and they will not understand that the story's 20, the side content 60. They'll just think, this game is 500 hours long. Some people will buy it and be incredibly upset that it's much shorter than they expected. Others will skip the game entirely because they'll say, you said it was 500 hours long. I don't have that much time to play. It's probably going to be all padding, and so they'll skip the game. So this is what you mean. You got to be very careful, right? You got to be very, very careful about the things that you say on the internet in the modern era. People will call you out for your shit. This isn't the 1990s where you put a stupid advertisement in a gaming magazine like Sega Genesis has blast processing. What is blast processing? Nothing. It doesn't exist. They made it up. It's a marketing term. It didn't exist inside of the Genesis. They lied. But back then, everyone was like, it's marketing. I need the blast processor inside of my Genesis. And they would go out and buy the Genesis thinking that it's something different from another game console when it's not. It seems like that's what they were going for. And man, they screwed up. They screwed up big time because they got called out for their baloney. So there you go. Okay. My second story for today will not be incredibly lengthy, and I'm certainly not going to go on a crazy tirade like I did the other day about it, but I'd like to do a follow-up story about the DMCA deal that has happened recently on Twitch. For those who don't know, there's been fads going on Twitch. They call them meta, which it's not even what meta means, but these content creators are so dumb that they term these things in a way, they start using them terms that don't mean what they mean, because it's a meme or a fad to say this. So the meta on Twitch for big content creators was to stream full episodes or unedited movies of television shows and movies, and without any kind of permission. They would literally just play an episode and just sit there like this and commentate over it. Maybe pause it a few times, do commentary over it. Okay? Completely illegal. They don't own the rights to do that. That's why shows like Mystery Science Theater 3000 back in the day couldn't do that with new movies. They had to do it with old movies that were considered public domain because the trademark and or copyright had expired for them. And that's why those same guys who do Mystery Science Theater 3000, if they want to do commentary over a new piece of content, they record their audio. You pay for the audio, and you have to then have the rights to the show or movie, press play, play their audio over it, and it kind of syncs. They call it riff tracks. It's a really great way to skirt the whole copyright and DMCA issue when it comes to that kind of content, but still do a running commentary over it. But all these content creators on Twitch say, we don't care about that. We don't care about the DMCA law. We don't care about what's legal or not. It's the meta, which doesn't make sense. That's not what the term means. But what they're essentially saying is it's a popular fad now to do this, okay? And the funny part about this is, okay, Twitch has a legal liability to enforce the law. They can't just ignore the fact that their most popular content creators on their site have all collectively decided to break the law together. You know what I'm saying? So this became a big thing last week when Pokemon, one of the bigger streamers over there, got shut down for 48 hours for violating DMCA law. I don't know what the hell she was watching, but she was watching an episode without permission, and her channel got suspended for 48 hours. Okay, now, you might say, oh, good. You know, at least justice was served or whatever, lesson learned. And I did some commentary about this last week or earlier in the week, and I said no, because here's the problem with these big content creators. They feel like, and rightly so, they feel like they're completely insulated from consequences for anything because they get so many views that then equate to so much income, whether it's ad revenue, whether it's, you know, cheering or super chat revenue, subscriber and membership revenue, tips during streams, which they don't call tips, of course, or they call them donations because they lie about it probably on their taxes. Who knows why they call it donations when really it's tips? I have no idea. That's why I call it the right thing. But anyway, the point I'm making is they make so much money. Plus, by the way, what you got to understand with these bigger people, they have sponsorship deals out the ass. Like behind the scenes, they're probably making just as much money as what you see take place on one of their live streams. They're doubling up with the amount of opportunities that they get on a daily basis just to push a product or whatever. Okay? So that being said, this upper echelon class of content creators feel completely immune to any kind of consequences because they feel no matter what they do, they can just easily go to another venue. They can go to another platform, or they'll get a slap on the wrist. They come right back, and what happens? Their fan bases are so, I don't want to say dedicated, but just like infatuated. I don't even know what the proper word is, but you're watching someone who literally did something outright wrong. Okay? You're doing it outright wrong. We know you're breaking the law. There's no defense against this. You're watching someone else's content that you have no rights to, and you're making money doing it. That's the only reason you're doing it, is to make money. You're doing commentary over it. You're advertising, monetizing, doing all these things, accepting contributions while you do it, right? You get punished for it. Oh, you're off the site for 2 days. And then what happens when you come back? You're rewarded. You're rewarded. Because now your fan base is so, I don't even know, programmed. I guess maybe that's the word I'm looking for. These fan bases become so programmed to think that the people they like can do no wrong. Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. All those content creators who were streaming that copywritten content, there's nothing wrong with that. So when they come back, man, they didn't make money for 2 days. I have to fucking really help them out. So now they double up and triple up on their contributions on that stream, the big triumphant return stream. Wow, you didn't do anything for 2 days. You sat on your ass because you broke the law. You come back and you get fucking rewarded, showered in contributions and positivity. Welcome back. Here's confetti and streamers, and here's a giant wad of fucking money, right? And you just kind of shake my head, and I'm like, you know, until people actually get held accountable for doing things wrong, no one will ever learn. And no one will ever stop doing it, okay? And the reason I'm bringing this up today is because I guess it was yesterday, Pokemon's suspension was lifted. And everyone You know, of course, eyes on her for her return stream to see, of course, she made a ridiculous amount of money. What a shock. But on top of that, of course, excuse me, she's talking about this whole meta, which again, it's not what the term fucking means, but they make shit up, and then everyone repeats it because they're dumb. They're dunces. They're parrots. Okay? Oh, well, you see, the one thing that I really don't understand about this whole thing is everyone seems to be calling us lazy. Everyone is saying it's lazy content for us to just sit here and commentate over copywritten content, okay? But what people don't understand is that these people who are at the top of the streaming game, these aren't lazy people. They didn't get there by being lazy. Take a look at this guy who used to be a pro player in a gamer gaming community and then turned it into a very lucrative streaming career. Or look at this person who used to do this. So she goes through this like laundry list of other content creators who have done meaningful things to get where they are. It's not that they got there by sitting around on their butts being lazy, commentating over television shows. All right? And I guess she's kind of using this as a defense, saying, listen, we're all very popular, we're all very prominent. This is just something we're trying to do for a variety of content to keep things fresh. This isn't just the end-all, be-all of who we are. So we find it very kind of weird or disingenuous that people would criticize us and say that we're lazy for doing it when that's not all we've ever done. Look at all the other stuff we've done where we worked really hard, okay? Now listen, fair enough. Fair enough. I would agree with that. Most people who are top content creators didn't get there by sheer luck. A lot of them really busted their ass over the years. Ninja did not get to be a top streamer and content creator just because he happened upon a game called Fortnite. This was a guy who grinded for years and years and years playing competitive games of various different kinds until finally, boom, the iron was hot. He struck. He made that kind of content that caught on with a certain audience, and now he's one of the biggest content creators in the world and probably never will stop being. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll always be at the top now because that's how it seems to be. Even if you're not prominent anymore, like PewDiePie, still insanely rich and has an insanely scope of views. You know, everyone still watches the shit, despite the fact who the fuck talks about PewDiePie anymore, right? So it's the same thing with these top content creators. I really don't believe you're gonna tell me what's his name, QOC or whatever. Do I really think that they got into what they're doing by being lucky? No. Determined? Yeah. Probably worked their butts off, probably grinded many years till they found their niche or whatever, and then they caught on. And once you become popular, unless somehow public opinion flips against you for some odd reason, like happened with me, you really stay popular forever, right? You do. You're just going to kind of stay there. Is it XQC? I don't know what the fuck his name is. XQC, QOC, QQC. For some reason, when I hear that name, I think Quaker Oats. I have no idea why. But anyway. Anyway. All right. The point that Pokemon was making is all of you in the last few days seem to be really nasty towards us. Everyone's kind of has this narrative that we're lazy for doing this. But look at us. We're actually hard workers or whatever. We got to where we are working our ass off, so it makes no sense what you're saying about us. Okay? Fair enough, but I don't think that's really the discussion that most people are having. The discussion most people are having is thus. You are a large-scale content creator. You have a viewership of tens of thousands, if not more people, every single day when you turn on your stream. People look up to you for various reasons, and maybe they shouldn't, and maybe that's one of the major problems with the industry right now, is that people who are larger-scale creators are role models for people. Maybe they shouldn't be, because I think what we're seeing more and more increasingly is that these people are not good role models. They're failing. They're actually doing underhanded, stupid shit that's basically bad and you should not do. You should use them as more as a cautionary tale rather than a model of how you should behave yourself in life. But anyway, the point I'm making here is these people have giant viewer bases that look up to them and will look to them as a way to conduct themselves. Okay? Like I said, with great power comes great responsibility. Does that mean now that, oh, well, listen, we can do whatever we want because we're big enough, right? I mean, does that make any sense? Does that sound like they're being responsible with the power that they have? And I can understand what Pokemon is saying. Oh, listen, we worked our asses off to get where we are. This is not us just doing lazy content. Fair enough. But reactionary is wrong. React content is the laziest fucking content you can put out on the internet. Like 100 fucking percent. There is zero effort put into it. You're not doing research on the shows or movies you're watching. You're just watching them straight up and just immediately reacting and saying something. That's it. There's absolutely no fucking effort put into that at all. And there is no way that any of those content creators can defend that. I think the reason that they do it is because, let's say there's a day going on, wow, there's going to be a big game trailer today. There's going to be a movie trailer. E3 is coming up. Oh, the Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards. I'm going to watch and live react to it. Literally, you do nothing of any work effort. You get paid. It's a free fucking paycheck to just sit there and go, pause, say 1-2 words, unpause, and, literally, there's nothing to it at all, okay? And anyone could do it, and the reason that they get away with it is because they're big. People would watch these people do anything. If, Pokemon picked her fucking nose for 2 hours on stream, people would fucking watch it and love it and send her money, right? If this guy XQC took a big diarrhea stinky dump in his toilet and made loud noises through his house and live streamed it, it would probably be the top rated thing he ever did. That's what I'm saying. Like, these people have such rabid followings on the internet that they could do whatever they want and they could get paid for it. So if you got a lazy day and you literally don't want to do any work today, okay, you do react content. And there's no one on the fucking planet that can dispute this. I, as a content creator, can tell you this. I can tell you it's the easiest shit you can possibly do. When I do a retrospective event, I love it because it's fun, because we get to go down memory lane, but there is almost no work involved besides setting up the stream and pressing play and going through the clips, playing the clips. There's no fucking work involved there, man. It's easy mode shit. So, fair enough. You want to tell me you work hard and that's how you got to where you are. Fine. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I may not like your content. I may not like you as a person, but I'm not going to dispute the fact that you worked hard to get to where you are. That's fine. However, it's not just about getting there. It's also about deserving to stay there. And when you're telling me that today you actively chose to rip off someone, to steal content illegally, rebroadcast it illegally, to actively know what you're doing is wrong to the point where you actually make a mirror broadcast and recording of yourself just in case you get shut down for DMCA claims. Yes, this is happening where these content creators are actually purposely mirroring themselves. So if they get shut down in one case, they can keep going and upload it somewhere else or rebroadcast it somewhere else and still make money on it, even though they're breaking the law. They know they're breaking the law. They don't care. They want the free paycheck. Okay? And it's ridiculous. Okay? It is. It absolutely is unjustifiable that they're doing what they're doing. Okay? So, Pokemon gets suspended for 2 days, comes back to a celebratory stream event, showered in praise from her viewership, showered in donations and everything, right? Oh my God, like nothing ever went wrong. And the one thing she has to say is, well, we're not lazy content creators. We don't deserve to be treated like this because we're all hard workers. That's how we got where we got. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna try to summarize as much as I can. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You have to, in life, be careful what you support. Because if you support the wrong things, the wrong people, this will be exactly what you get from every direction. Those people will continue to be successful, and you will only see that kind of content. There's a very good reason why on YouTube right now, the vast majority of people who are successful do drama videos, stunts and pranks, over-the-top, wacky, zany, irresponsible, dumb fucking shit, because they gamed the YouTube algorithm, okay? There's a reason why every top content creator on Twitch does the meta. They all do the same things to jump on waves of popularity to make a buck. There's a reason why they all do it, right? In life, perhaps what you should really do is support people who put out content that you find is actually meaningful and not just popular, okay? And I know that sounds hipster, that sounds alt, that sounds, you know what I'm saying? That's not mainstream. I agree with you. Very much my opinions are not in line with what most of the mainstream people out there will tell you. All right? You get definitely an alternative take when you watch my content and you listen to my podcast and the things that I have to say. Okay? The bottom line here is, if you support the people who do these kind of shit, these things, all you will get is people doing the terrible shit. All right? Really. This will become all that's popular. Because everyone will say, I have to steep to these levels to make a buck and make a living doing this. Because it's become the only way to do it. You see what I'm saying? So, if you support someone who literally breaks the law, willingly knows they're doing it, and they know that they get in trouble for it because they mirror their content, knowing that they're breaking the law, and at any moment they can get shut down for it. But they don't care, because all they care about is this, making a buck and taking your money. Okay? So if that's all you care, if that's all they care about, they do that. Then they get punished for it, come back acting like they did nothing wrong, and the only thing they have to say for themselves is, well, I'm not lazy because I did work hard to get where I am. And they completely ignore the fact that it is lazy content they're putting out to make a buck. They're trying to brush that under the rug. Okay? If that's the kind of content you support, go ahead and congratulations. But don't say, I didn't tell you so, when all you see remaining in a few years is that kind of content creator. The make money by any means necessary, disrespect the audience by doing dumb shit, no meaningful content of any kind, no quality to the content they put out, lowest common denominator of just make a buck, who cares what the fuck I have to do to make that buck, and literally being terrible role models for everyone on the internet. And the other thing that I said the other day is, what you got to understand about this is that these bigger content creators, sadly, it shouldn't be this way, but it is right now, they represent all of us as gamers and as well as content creators. So when they do something wrong because they're the bigger people who have more visibility than us, we're the ones who end up getting the short end of the stick. If Twitch or YouTube ends up changing the way that they monetize content, if they end up punishing people for using copywritten or trademarked content in a different way than they do now, like right now it's content ID and or these arbitrary, take you down for 2 days or whatever. But if they end up completely revamping their systems and they become harsh and cruel, and now it's impossible for someone to make a living unless you are the tippity top, the cream of the crop, unless you're, normal people can't even make a few bucks doing this because these people acted irresponsibly. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Because how ridiculous is it that someone outright breaks the fucking law, comes back, has literally nothing to say in defense besides, I'm not lazy because I've done stuff in the past that was challenging to get where I am. I don't just make the lazy content. That's it. That's all they have to say. And then somehow they're rewarded. Like, this is ass backwards. Literal ass backwards how it should be. It should be, you break the law, you showed intent to break the law when you made the mirrored content. You knew you could get taken down for breaking the law. That's intent to break the law. You broke it, you're banned for life. Goodbye. Go find another job because you outright showed you can't make content without doing underhanded illegal things. Fuck off. You're never making content ever again. You're blacklisted from everywhere. That's what should have happened. Then people will be like, oh shit, that content creator's blacklisted, so that means I shouldn't break the law either. Let's all do the right thing together, guys. Man, that's a cautionary tale about what goes wrong when you fuck around and you break the law for personal gain. Instead, it's the complete opposite. Right? How is it that these people are immune to consequences in life? How? I don't get it. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Seriously, like, what should happen is you do something that messed up. You outright break the law. That's it. Your sponsors drop you. Your supporters are gone. You're off every site. Go get a job in real fucking life now because you blew it because you're greedy. Instead, here's a reward. Here's a big payout. I don't get it. I just don't get it. All right. Continuing on. The third and final story for today. A big story about Take-Two Interactive, the parent company that owns Rockstar Entertainment, along with many other companies. I believe they also own 2K Games and other things, other game publishers, right? Other game developers. Um, big story. They are attempting to acquire Zynga. For those who don't know, Zynga is a mobile game exclusive company known mostly for Farmville, but also they did make many other mobile games over the years, like Words with Friends. Remember that one, Words with Friends, from like a decade ago, right? Among other things. Zynga, by the way, that was the company that Don Matrick got hired by when he got shit canned by Microsoft. He got hired by Zynga to try to restructure and save their company because they were falling apart after the prominence of games like Farmville was waning. And he did absolutely nothing and got fired from there too. But anyway, Zynga is in the process of being bought by Take-Two Games for, get this, ladies and gentlemen, $12.7 billion. I didn't misspeak. $12.7 billion. The biggest video game buyout in recorded history. Just think of it this way. Microsoft bought out Bethesda for what? Like a few billion, I think. They got a big discount because, holy shit, $12 billion is a lot of fucking money, okay? Now, of course, you can say to yourself, oh, this is great. This is great. I'm sure they're going to make all kinds of fun, original content. Oh, man, this is going to be a whole new generation of stuff. But, of course, what does Take-Two say immediately? Oh, the reason we're buying Zynga is because we're looking to bring popular franchises like GTA Online to the mobile devices. Fuck! So we've been talking about this recently. I've been saying to you guys, again, I just literally just said it moments ago. In this life, you have to be careful what you support. Okay? Because even if it's completely inadvertent and you're not intending for it to happen, okay, you can have consequences happen as a result of your attention, as a result of your buying choices, your spending habits, okay? In regards to Rockstar Games, right? For the greater part of a decade, since the release of Grand Theft Auto 5, we have been wondering what the hell they're doing over there. Because outside of Grand Theft Auto 5, Rockstar has literally done two things. They've updated GTA Online, and they released Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online. Okay? Those are the two things that they've done in a decade. Now, keep in mind, if you go back in time, Rockstar used to pump out such a good variety of games. They had not only the GTA franchise, but the spin-off games that they made for more mobile handheld game consoles. They had the Bully franchise. They actually bought Max Payne and made Max Payne 3. They had variety games. At one point, they actually made a table tennis game and shit like that. They were known. Oh, by the way, DLCs. Let's talk about expansion DLCs for GTA 4 and how popular they were at the time of their release, right? So, when GTA 5 came out, we all felt that pattern would continue. And those of us who liked Rockstar games were very pleased for the future. And then what happened? Like the last decade, all we got was GTA Online update after 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 update. Update after update after update after update after update. Okay, you get the point that I'm making here. Okay, is outside of Red Dead 2, which was a good game, by the way. I liked Red Dead 2, although admittedly I didn't like the gameplay. I thought it was mostly story, but still. Outside of Red Dead 2, all they've done is GTA Online. Well, why did they change their attitude towards game development? Well, because they figured out a way to print money, just like Valve did back in the day. Valve used to be a very prominent game development company, making games such as the Half-Life franchise, Portal games, Team Fortress franchise, right? Counter-Strike. All of these things they were known for. And then what happened? They released Steam. And when they released Steam, it printed money. And they said, we could go over here and work hard and develop great games that are meaningful and, you know, they're artistic, you know, things that really resonate, and we have a hardcore fan base who love our games. So we could work hard to do that. Or we could just sit over here on our lazy fat fucking asses, publish games for PC, and print money. Let's print money and shove our faces with big meatball hoagies and fucking just, you know, roll in the dough. And that's what they did. You don't want to know how many meatball hoagies they ate over there at Valve. It's fucking disgusting. So now Rockstar figured out the same thing. They said, we don't need to work anymore. We can literally just have everyone develop for GTA Online, and people are so fucking stupid, they just keep spending money on it. We can't even stop them from spending money on it. We would like to maybe do something. We can't. The money keeps coming. We can't. We created the monster, and now we can't kill it. We made Frankenstein. The fucker won't die. We tried ripping his head off. We tried shoving a fucking poker up his ass. We fucking, you know, blew him into pieces. This guy's like Jason Voorhees. He always comes back. We can't stop GTA Online. Okay? So, that being said, wow. Take-Two's buying Zynga. This is great. A whole new slew of games, original games, right? No. We're bringing GTA Online to a whole new audience to milk your fucking money even further because we don't want to actually make good games anymore. We just want your fucking money. So, that being said, all right? Again, you have to be careful what you support, because it was funny. I had this same discussion with my viewing audience a week or two ago. Someone actually argued with me during that PreStream podcast. They directly were going back and forth with me saying, so let me get this straight. Just because I supported GTA Online, I like the game and I spend money on it. It's an ongoing thing I play with my friends or whatever. I'm responsible for the downfall of game development when it comes to Rockstar. I take the blame. No, they should take the blame, okay? Okay, fair enough. Yes, absolutely. Ultimately, at the end of the day, who is responsible for the choices that Rockstar and Take-Two make? Rockstar and Take-Two, like, they're the ones running the company. But we as consumers dramatically undervalue the amount of power that we have with our buying dollars and with social media. These two things combined are incredibly powerful because money rules the world and public perception, despite the fact of how profitable something is, can actually change the way that companies act towards things. We were just talking about this the other day, that one of the lead devs of Days Gone says that Days Gone actually was a sales success for Sony, but Sony always viewed it as a failure because the game rated poorly on Metacritic. That it didn't matter how much it sold. They wanted to make a popular franchise, and everyone was told at the studio that it was Ben's studio that they failed at doing that and was always treated like a bunch of failures. So even if you're profitable, you also need to have common opinion on your side, because if you don't, you know, maybe things aren't going to go as good for you as you hope. And what we're seeing here is, in my opinion, all right, exactly what I've been saying for months and months, and all along, really, but just for the months that we've been talking about these kind of stories, is that your dollars and what you spend money and time on will actively affect what happens in the game industry. Okay? How ridiculous is it that this GTA Online thing blew up, virally popular? Everyone wanted to do it. It was a social thing. Everyone jump on there, play it with your friends or whatever. They even have these virtual communities of people who are like pretending to be other people. They create characters and they go in there and they role play as these characters and do all this shit. All the while dropping money along the way. Or I got to drop my money here and here. Keep dropping your money along the way as you go to make sure that Rockstar's pockets are nicely lined, right? And then what happens? Rockstar makes no new games. We still have no information on GTA 6. GTA 5 is being re-released for like the 17th time, this time for PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. The GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition comes out is anything but definitive. It's a piece of shit that they have to patch repeatedly to even, get to a point where they're fun and playable. This is the problem. When you reinforce and support the bad behavior will continue and get worse, right? So if your favorite content creators break the law, and you say it's okay for you to break the law, I'll still support you anyway, they will never learn. They will continue to feel like they're above the fucking law and do horrible things. If you keep giving money to a company that used to be an epic game developer making artistic games and fun things, and they stopped doing that for a decade to make GTA Online, but you keep giving them money for GTA Online, then they're going to continue to make that thing. So are you surprised that Take-Two is going to spend $12.7 billion to buy Zynga, a mobile game developer, to port GTA Online? Why? Why would you be surprised? Why is this even a story? This should be whatever. Who cares? If you play GTA Online, great. If you don't, who the fuck cares about Rockstar? Because that's all they are. They are GTA Online, the company. They're nothing else anymore. They're a shell of their former selves because they've shown time and time again they only care about raking in the money, the easy mode money for expansions to GTA Online, right? Right? So by all means, enjoy what you enjoy, support what you want to support. But you absolutely cannot then come back and be like, oh man, I really wish that Rockstar would make Bully 2. And where's GTA 6? Where are the updates? And where's this and that? Yeah, but dude, you're playing fucking GTA Online and you're giving them money. So what did you think would happen, right? If you're upset, really, if you're upset that they're not doing the things you want, then don't fucking support the things that you don't want. Like, this is like common sense, but I really hate to say it. People just don't have common sense anymore. The older I get and the more that I see the way people react, people just don't have common sense. They think that like, oh, I don't like this behavior, but I'll support that behavior and then things will change for the better. No, that's not how it works. In life, you don't always have to be an active proponent of change or protest, but at the very least understand that even the daily things that you can do can affect the world around you. When you spend $1 on anything, you're supporting that. So if you're spending $1 on GTA Online, you're telling Rockstar, stop making single-player games and keep updating GTA Online, right? If you're spending $1 on a content creator who broke the law and you knew it, right? Guess what? You're telling the content creator, it's okay, you broke the law, please keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just, it's common sense, but people just don't seem to have it, man. They just do what they want, and then they expect things to get better when that's not how the world works. So there you go. Jasper is very cutely pawing the headphone jack wire to my headphones right now on the floor. Jasper, that's not a toy, you nut. You have plenty of toys in the house to play with. That's not one of them. Okay. Dark Magician's cousin says, how many times have you spent $1 for a bad ST port and kept doing it? See, now this is what we call... I forget the terminology for it. Is it a straw man argument? What you're trying to do is you're trying to equate what I'm saying to something that I do to try to say that I'm a hypocrite. When in reality, it's not, because it's a completely different situation. If you don't like the fact that Rockstar stopped making narrative-based games, you can stop spending money on Rockstar games and go play other great narrative-based games that other companies had. There's competition there. You can support their competition. Are there so many versions of Super Turbo being ported that I can select the better one and support it? No. In fact, there's been one version of Super Turbo for consoles, modern consoles, in the last 4 to 5 years. That's the 30th anniversary edition. Before that, It was Ultra Street Fighter 2, which was a piece of dog shit because it had fucking 2 characters that were overpowered in ranked play. And as soon as the 30th anniversary edition came out, I dropped that one and never supported it ever again. You didn't see me then go out and continue to buy Ultra Street Fighter 2 while I was playing the other version, did you? So it's not equivalent what you're saying. I mean, it's clever of you to try to spin it in that way because you think I'm stupid, but I'm not. I'm much smarter than you. So you can stop trying to make me look like a hypocrite when you're completely stupid and wrong. The reason I play bad Super Turbo is because it's the only way I can enjoy Super Turbo. You can definitely enjoy narrative-based games that Rockstar doesn't make. There's tons of them out there. You can support that instead of GTA Online. Okay? This actually would have been a better comparison. I complain constantly about Street Fighter, but I keep playing Street Fighter 5. Right? I hate Street Fighter 5. I say it went in the wrong direction, but I keep playing it anyway. Which is what most of the FGC did this last console gen. They all said Street Fighter 5 had issues. They wish it was better, yet they all kept playing Street Fighter 5 because there was no other Street Fighter game to play. And they felt, oh, it's better to have something than nothing. Wrong attitude to have. Completely wrong attitude because they kept supporting Street Fighter 5. What happened? 17 expansion seasons, 400 DLC characters, money, money, money for Capcom for minimal effort. And then you ended up Street Fighter 5 for how many fucking years when the game sucked, right? They probably would have moved on to Street Fighter 6 2-3 years ago. People would have stopped supporting Street Fighter 5, but they were too fucking dumb to realize they had to stop playing the fucking game and spending money on it for them to want to move on to Street Fighter 6. That would have been a better comparison. You see? That would have been a much better comparison. But you're an idiot. Okay. All right. Let us now get the shout-outs. Before this stream gets way too long. Okay? All right, let's see here. Ruby did a super chat saying, since removing the moniker, are you changing your series name to include King, like Feasting with the King? You can change it to Feasting with Phil. No, the King moniker is not the problem. The full moniker, the King of Hate, was the problem. I could still be a king, or it's not a real king. It's obviously a play on words. It's not meant to mean anything. I'm not really a king of anything. I'm not, I'm not part of the royalty of any country or anything. But the point is, it could still be a king. Just it's not the King of Hate. We've got to figure out what would be the king of gaming, the King of Farts, whatever the hell you want to say. Anything's better than the King of Hate. Okay. All right. Zoya did a super chat. Said, what are your biggest regrets of 2020 and why? 2020. My biggest regrets of 2020. Man. That's a tough one. Because I have to think back a year and a half. I can't answer that. Zoya then did a super chat and says, what games do you and Kat play together for fun? Nothing. We don't play games together. I watch her play games. Like yesterday she was playing Skyrim. And what's funny about Skyrim is, oh my god, the game is so long and so much content. She's been playing Skyrim alongside kind of me, all right? She's not playing it as much as I am, but she's playing it when she can between, her work and everything. She hasn't even really done any of the stuff that I've done in the game yet. Like, she focused on the Stormcloak versus Imperials plotline, and I think she actually played it almost to the end now. And, like, it's hilarious because she's doing all this content and these missions. I'm like, where are you? What are you doing? I'm like, I haven't done any of this, and I've been playing for, 12 hours? I haven't even seen any of this yet, right? Oh my god, excuse me. The True Crime Amber did a super chat saying, can I listen to how can I listen to just the podcast, Spotify or Apple? Yeah, you can press play on YouTube and just not watch the video. Treacle Sponge did a super chat, said, hi Phil. Hello, Treacle Sponge, how are you doing? We found out the other day this is some kind of a dessert. A Treacle Sponge. Welcome to the stream, thank you for the support. Nathan Smith did a super chat. He says, I find it funny there's over 500 hours of content. How much of it will be fun to play? Exactly right. And how much of it will be insane repetition? That's exactly right. And then Need for Beans was the latest super chatter. Thank you, Need for Beans. Good to see you here today. Appreciate that. Squirrel did a super chat. Says, what other competition is there to GTA 5? There were Sleeping Dogs. None of people bought it and it got canned. I really can't think of any other games. Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need to have companies actually competing. At one point, there was. You had the Mafia series, the Godfather series, Scarface, Saints Row. There was absolutely competition for GTA at one point. And then at some point, everyone kind of gave up. You know, think about what sandbox game has been prominent in the last 5 to 10 years since GTA 5. I can't even think of many, if any. Most of those franchises faded away, right? Mafia 3 failed because they padded the game with too much side content that sucked ass. Saints Row drove itself into the ground, right? There you go. So maybe that is the problem. Maybe we need competition. Maybe if there were competition to that style of game, then maybe Rockstar would have been forced to say, oh, we lost the throne and now we want to come back or whatever. Right now they have no desire to do that because they have so much money. Like, even if, think of it this way, even if Rockstar decided they wanted to make like a new GTA expansion or GTA 6, that would actually mean they would have to pay to bring in forklifts to actually physically remove the stacks of money out of the way so they could actually reach their PCs to start developing those games again. Right, as it is, they can only reach the PC that makes content for GTA Online because that's the only one they've needed for like a decade. So everything else is just stacks everywhere, yeah. And we're not just talking paper money. We're talking actual gold bullion and doubloons. And they've got rubies and emerald, giant chests overloading with pearl necklaces. It's ridiculous in there. It's a big hazard. Liza Versol is our first tipper of the day. $10 tip. He says you should apply to be the next game director of a new game IP that Rockstar makes. All right, you got it. I should do that, shouldn't I? I should do that. You're right. Peasant tipped me $4.20. Says here to the king of cock. There you go. As you remember, last week I misspoke. We were jokingly talking about on a stream that I would be the king of content. I'm the king of content or content creation, and that's KOC, which spells cock, abbreviated. And then I accidentally said I'm the king of cock, and that was the end of that. Now everyone just says that. Hilarious. Liza Versol tipped another $4.20 and says, I'm also for a Spotify or Apple-like audio-only podcast. You can help get your brand out there outside of YouTube. No. I am a YouTube content creator. That is my focus, is bringing attention to this channel on YouTube. Maybe long-term, in a few years, if there is still an ongoing desire for something like that, I would look into it. Right now, I need people to come to DSPGaming, watch the content on DSPGaming, like the content on DSPGaming, and leave comments on the content on DSPGaming. I don't need them going to Spotify, to the Apple Store, to Bandcamp, to the fucking Google Plus Play outlet, to, Napster. I need you getting the stuff from here. This is what we're trying to build. What's moving behind me? The ghost. There's a ghost coming out of the cloud. Oh my God, the ghost is... Wow. Oh, hello. It's the ghost of meaningful games that Rockstar used to make. How you doing? Oh my God, it's the kid from Bully. How you doing, kid from Bully? I forgot your name. How you doing? Oh, you're dead? That's why they didn't make a sequel. He died because he just was in such fucking, miscare over the years. Rockstar forgot about him. They never fed him, and he fucking died from malnourishment. No, actually, that was just Jasper going into the closet. He opens the closet from once in a while and goes in there. So, all right. So Jimmy, his name was Jimmy. He's dead. Jimmy is dead. He's actually in my closet. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Ilias LB says, do you hate the approach Rockstar Games took with GTA Online by adding futuristic things and weapons? Honestly, I can't even comment on it because I played GTA Online at launch. It sucked. It was broken. It wasn't fun to play. And it didn't even have any of the fun physics or things that made Red Dead Online fun, which is why I was hoping I would do like Suicide Kings in GTA Online, a series where I do hilarious deaths and pranks and stunts. And you couldn't do it because the limitations were so bad with the constraints they had put on the universe that I didn't like it. And I stopped playing it within like 2-3 sessions. Then I came back to it for heists, which I thought were okay. And I never went back to it ever again. I actually don't know anything about the type of content that they put in there. Okay. So, I can't comment on it. I really can't. I don't know if it's bad or good or not. I don't care about it because I don't play GTA Online. So. Alright. Yes, I am accepting fan art. Did I ask Kat if she's interested in playing It Takes Two with me completely off stream? No. I don't think she's really interested in it, quite frankly. Snowfill says, sadly, it looks like Horizon. Wait, the new Horizon Forbidden West game has leaked completely on the internet now. Everyone's talking about it, spoiling it, just like they did with The Last of Us 2 a month or two early. It's fine because everyone's saying that the story is cookie cutter and bland as fuck. Wow. Well, I'm gonna stay away from it. You guys know me. I stay away from everything anyway. Like, I try not to purposely. I try not to immerse myself in any kind of content about a game before it comes out, so that way when I play it, I feel like I'm playing it cold turkey. I'm not spoiled on all the content and the plot and everything. So when I play these new games coming out in February, most of them I'll only know very base level knowledge on, and I'll be playing them kind of for the first time, you know, to give you my honest reactions and everything. So that's how I approach content creation. Other people might want to completely immerse themselves in the universe and spoil the game. I mean, here's the truth of the matter, though, is that it wouldn't matter if it leaked on the internet anyway, because within about a week to 2 weeks, the golden chosen content creators who are paid shills for the fucking company who made the game and published the game will all have the game anyway, and we'll be doing full playthroughs of it on stream and on the internet, so no one else can get the game, but they'll have it early so that they can be free paid advertisement, right? So it doesn't really matter. The game will be spoiled anyway. Yeah, it's not like it really isn't like it used to be, where everyone will get so hyped for a game at release, and everyone plays it at release and experiences it all together and collectively can react to the stuff going on in the game together. These days, every new game, the entire game's on the internet 2 weeks beforehand because, oh, we gotta fucking do this paid shill content, right? All right, guys. That's it for the PreStream podcast. Thanks for being a great audience, a supportive audience. Thanks for listening to me rant and rave. And it's time now for gameplay. All right, let's do it.